There is one common interest that humanity shares more than any other besides the basic life necessities. Around 40.5% of the world shares this common interest. It can help foster international cooperation and teamwork. It also often helps individuals sharpen their minds and helps strategize. It also is a form of stress reliever for a lot of people. The interest that I'm talking about is video games. Video games are such an integral part of our modern day society. It has been around for a really, really long time and has honestly changed society for the better. Video games have such a rich history. The first video game being around half a century ago, going by the name of Pong. It was such a revolutionary idea because, one, the computer was such an entirely new concept that it was crazy that we could put direct inputs and have a video signal out. And we have seen 3 generations grow up with video games in this time period. And in each generation, video games evolve. In the first generation that it was introduced, it was solely single-player arcade games or single-player games in your own home that you'd play with your family or friends when they're over. These games include Mario, the N64, and the GameCube. Those are all individual games like Donkey Kong. In the second generation, we got to see the first widespread usage of video games playing with other people, especially outside of the house, like in the local internet. These games include Call of Duty, Halo, and many others. And this honestly helped shape the culture around video games so much because then it created a community for a lot of different people to be a part of. And in this current generation, we finally see video games everywhere and all over the world, at any place, any time. They're always just a community around them. And the reasoning behind this is that as each generation comes in, the more video games get better. This is mainly due to the technological advances that's growing with society. So as technology gets better over time, the more the game developers are allowed to have more room to make games better. In a way, this has changed all of society for the better. Looking at it strictly from a statistical point of view and financial point of view, this industry is such a huge amount of the economy. It has a bigger economy than both the music and movie industry combined. In 2021, it has an estimated revenue of $180 billion. That is an insane amount considering the whole entire pandemic system. And even to quote the evolution and social impact of video game economics, throughout the 1970s, as the arcade industry collected coins and generated increasingly impressive revenues, a myriad of home console systems were introduced with varying levels of success. With the introduction of cartridge systems in 1976, home consoles grew in popularity and revenue-generating ability until reaching their early peak in 1981 with an estimated $2 billion in the United States. This is a crazy amount considering that it's 1976 and the culture has changed so much around video games since then. So just imagine how much of an asset it is right now. Even at the height of its popularity in 2008, World of Warcraft had a system and an industry inside of the game that created around $500 million. And inside these little tiny video games, there's a massive team that goes into creating them, creating endless and thousands of job opportunities for everyone. And strictly from a societal point of view, it has forever changed the norms of society because it has, in a way, created a unifying force between all of us because, especially in my generation, everyone has grown up with video games like Minecraft, like Pokemon. Everyone, all of the that's what I and a lot of my friends grew up with. And in a way, that's also a great icebreaker for a lot of people. Like, what video games do you play? And then you can talk about that for like hours. And all around, it just creates a unifying force for a lot of people, and it creates a giant community around people.